Hey guys, welcome back to Not Another Podcast, and this is episode 2. And we have someone here today who has Jacksonville real shook.
Oh my goodness.
Shook. Okay, definitely me. And if you have kids, definitely your kids. The whole city of Jacksonville is shook right now. Okay, so we're sitting here with none other than Ashley, owner of Malachi's Icebreaker Bar. Ashley, want to say hey to the people?
Hi, everyone.
So, as many, or if not all of you may not know, that she did announce that she'll be closing this chapter. So we'll talk a little bit about that and how she shocked the whole city of Jacksonville once again. But today is not just about closing a business, but about obedience, purpose, and trusting God when God calls you into a new season. Oh my God, I got goosebumps. So I'm just going to open it up with a little prayer. So if you're watching at home or at work, I don't know about work, but if you're watching at home, close your eyes and just pray with me. So, Father God, thank you so much for bringing us together today. We just pray that this conversation encourages whoever is watching, and maybe they're facing uncertainty or a difficult decision, and it gives them wisdom, clarity, and maybe a little laughter. If they're starting a new season, new beginnings, but also an endings, knowing that you are present with them. May this conversation glorify you and inspire those who are listening at home. Amen.
Amen.
So, you probably remember from episode 1, guys, we always start off with a song that's kind of resonating with what's going on. So, we're going to play a little song, Ashley. This is probably how the people are feeling at home. Let me bring the speaker out. Make sure we got it up loud. This is how she has us feeling, guys.
No, baby, no, baby. No. You gonna tell me away from me. I go crazy.
Really? Now this gonna make me cry. Y'all right. Oh my
Just
goodness.
fight a little bit. Why she leaving us, guys? We gonna find out. Okay. So we just gonna do the intro because I don't want to get, banned on YouTube. But, did I say that? Okay. So we're gonna stop the music and jump right in, guys.
That was cute.
That's cute.
Oh my goodness, I cannot.
Well, we'll start with a little icebreaker, Ashley, okay?
Okay.
So, you know how we're feeling. This is how most of us are feeling.
Yeah.
We've taken our love away, but we understand that the end of chapters come. So, with this icebreaker, let's just say, if your personality was an ice cream, right? What flavor do you feel like you would be?
I would think Hurricane. We had a flavor called Hurricane Charlie, which was like every ice cream and like every thick piece of chocolate inside of ice cream. So it was like vanilla. I love pretzels. So it was like pretzels, peanut butter cups. I think we had M&Ms. We had like any like chocolate candy was in it.
Yeah.
And I love that because it expresses that like you just never know what you're gonna get. I think I'm very spontaneous. I think that I'm one of those people like if I have an idea or I have something I can jump for it, go for it. So yeah.
Okay, so you're a spontaneous ice cream. Like just open it up and you get what you get.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how it felt when we opened that app that one day. Okay, yeah, you're spontaneous for sure. Can you recall the funniest customer interaction that you had?
The funniest customer interaction.
Or
the funniest?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or crazy is most memorable.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I know everybody's watching this you better mention my story. Most memorable.
I know that it's
I know this is probably not going to be too crazy, but I think all the customers that came in pregnant or any customers that came in with the little one, I'm a mom at heart. So anytime the babies come in, I don't know you guys. I call them my ice cream babies. I just love, and I call them widows, our little widows. They're just so tiny. And I just anytime the moms come in pregnant or they come back and see me after they have the babies, I think those are the most special moments.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I just love that.
Okay.
I just love it so much.
So pretty much all the little ones, she loves all the little ones.
Yes,
okay. Which they are so cute because they always have their little taste buds. They're like, oh, can I get this one?
They're very honest, you guys. They're very honest. They're like, this is the best. I mean, they like tooted my horn. They're like, this is the best ice cream. Like, I'm like, I feel like. I feel like kids are very honest. So if they don't like something, they're gonna tell you they don't like it, and if they love it, they're gonna tell you they love it. And I just like they were so honest with me. And they didn't like something, they're like
no,
yeah.
And then like no words, no actual notes after, just like no, this nasty.
Yeah. So I love the yeah.
Okay, I love that. So we are gonna transition into. We'll start off with the announcement.
Yeah.
That surprise everyone.
Okay.
So
cards.
We'll say the decision. Okay. So when did you first know it was time to move on?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I would say that throughout my career, so a lot of people don't know, I came from corporate banking prior to ice cream. So this was a side quest. Like it was like one of those things where it's like you ventured all. I meant spontaneous. I ventured off. And I always say, like, every time, like, God was transitioning my seasoning, it was, like, something that I felt on me. Like, I can't really explain it, but it was something that, like, literally set on me, like, heavy. Like, things that was easy for me, or, like, it's just, like, it felt like a transition. And I would say anytime, like, God promoted me or changed anything within my career and life, like, I always felt that emotion or that feeling right before. Mm-hmm. And I think that right before I graduated, in May, I was like feeling this feeling. I'm like, okay, God, like, and I was just praying. I'm like, okay, God, like, what's next? Like, I just feel it, like, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Or, am I supposed to be like opening another location? Am I supposed to be expanding? Wow. And God was like, no, this is the end. Mm-hmm. And I know it's like crazy because like when God said, I'm like, what do you mean? Like in right here? Like everybody else thought like in like what do you mean? And I think, like, when it came to that, me praying, like, okay, do I continue, like, to hustle? Do I continue to, like, grind it out and, like, open up a new location? And I'm just like, okay, God, but, like, I have this, like, maybe I should do this. I would say going in, I didn't have, like, this idea, like, I was going to have, like, 50 locations. Like, I think a lot of people, like, who actually early on, like, oh, what's next? I was like, I'm not sure. Like, it just never, it was just never, like, one thing I've learned over time is just, like, not moving before God.
Right.
And, in the Bible, it even talks about, like, when people ask you what's next, always say whatever the Lord has for me. Because you have no idea.
Because you can make plans and really.
God is not, like, absolutely not. So I think that it was one of those seasons where I'm just, like, asking God, like, what was next? And that whisper came. And I felt like before I opened Malachi's, that same whisper, and I went on a fast for 6 months. And then, like, I popped out and I went Malachi's, right? So I think that it was that same whisper, and I think that when it came, I was taken back too. Like I would say that I was like, yes, it was more like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Did you wrestle with it, or you feel like you tried to like be like
I think I didn't. Mm-hmm. I didn't wrestle with it. I think I do believe like God, if you could bring me this far,
right?
What's like how much greater do you have after this?
Yes.
And I think that I was nervous at first. I think I would be lying if I didn't say like I didn't cry for like maybe 2 days. I was just like, oh my God, more of the panic, like, oh, I'm about to really say like I'm closing Malachi's, like I'm really about to put that out to the world. They're like, hey, this is it for me. Mm-hmm. I think that doing that, I think it was like that was the nerve-wracking part of
making it real.
Yeah, making it real because like, oh, I can't take this. I mean, I could, but it's like once it's out there, everybody, the news, everybody picked it up. So it's like once it was out there, it was like dang, I really said it, but it was also relieving.
True.
I think like once I got out of like my head, like it was out there, and then like I think once I did it, God showed me what was my purpose there in the first place.
Oh, I love it.
So it wasn't until like I kept on like, okay, God, like I'm asking God like what's next, like what am I supposed to be doing, things of that nature. But the moment that I put that this was it for us, and like every, like, the customers, anybody who had any type of interaction with us in any type of way, the feedback that people were saying, it's just like, I'm like, wow, God, you sent me to make this type of impact. You sent me to show people that, hey, this is not just possible for me. We can create something and not just do it well, but do it fantastic, give great customer service, and give an atmosphere that you've never seen, and keep that quality to the end.
Exactly.
So I think that, once I put that out there, and just like all the love and just like everyone gave, I think that gave me that surety, like my time here is done. Like like God sent me.
Yep.
And I did what I was supposed to do here.
And I was gonna say too, like, I feel like oftentimes people, they have this idea of what success looks like. Like, if you're successful, that means you have to go on forever.
Yeah.
And this is probably a crazy relation, but like Insecure, the series.
Yeah.
We felt like it was so successful, it should have went on for like 10 seasons, but she felt like 5 seasons wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that same thing. It's like, just because you choose to close that door doesn't mean it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
And I think some people I've seen, like, because I've been reading on the news stuff, and they're like, oh, she didn't have this and this. It's like, no, you can close down a successful business too.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that too. I think I know that, like, people who come in and talk to us at our store, I'm always going to talk from like a spiritual standpoint. I'm always going to bring God into the midst of it. And I would say this, like, you have to realize whatever God bless you with, you own luxury points. A very beautiful, I mean, you guys, we know it's very beautiful, okay? And God bless you with this, but we have to realize His purpose in the blessing.
Right.
Like, a lot of times we open up things and we do things with our hands or our passionate, whatever God gave us, right? The knowledge, the talents, whatever. And we think that, hey, it's for us and we're the glory for it and stuff like that. You have to realize, God, you are being sent. God would bless you with something, but you're being sent to that blessing to do something, right? To encourage people. And that's something that I did a lot at Malachi's, is to speak into people's lives, give encouragement and stuff like that. And, something that Pastor Tim at Celebration, I'll give a shout out to him. Yes, he spoke about Philip in Acts, and how Philip, was preaching, and he was, everybody knew
doing all the things,
and then God said, okay, now Philip, go to the desert.
Right.
And and I think about that now, like, you know what I'm saying, when God said, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing next, or this is where I'm sending you to. And I think about the 99 and the one. God will leave the 99 for the one. He sent him to the desert for the one that was sitting there.
I hope y'all got your Bibles and notes and everything right, okay?
Yes.
Because this is so real. Like, I think so many business owners, even myself, can relate to this. It's like, you have to hear God's voice and truly know, especially if you don't listen.
Yeah.
When He tells you to move, I've told this story 1,000 times. When He speaks and you don't do it, listen, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And we'll be out here questioning God like we really have better second options and stuff. So I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said. And y'all, when God says move, you don't move. Just know it's about to get crazy. Okay? And
I see some girl on social media say this. She said that, she told her husband, like, I feel like God has told me to do this. And then she was like, I don't know if I should do it. And, the husband said, what, if you don't do it, what do you think your well will be? And I was just thinking to myself, like, what if you don't move and then you find yourself in a season where God's grace has already left? You were supposed to go for God's grace
already,
and here you are still in a place that God told you to leave from, and then you're like, oh God, why is this happening to me? And God's like, I told you to move
literally
3 months ago, 6 months ago. Yeah.
Literally exactly what happened to me at the studio. Yeah. I was supposed to leave with the grace, and I was like, oh no, God, I'm not ready to move. I'm not leaving. And then everything just happened. So yes, and obedience is so much way better than sacrifice.
And then I'm gonna say this one little tip, more thing on top of that. Y'all, if you think what you have, if I think Malachi's is the best and the greatest thing in the world, how much greater do God, if I think that that's what it is, imagine how much greater do God have for me if I think that was the epitome of His greatness,
See?
Yeah.
Listen. And what do you feel like was harder? Building the business or leaving it? Closing it?
This is gonna be crazy, but I felt like building the business was harder than leaving.
Yeah.
And I would say that because when you're building and you're investing in things, you have no idea of the outcome, if it's gonna work and stuff like that. You're really jumping out there on faith, like, okay, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna open the doors, and I'm gonna hope that people show up, right? Exactly. So you really just
it's a faith walk.
It's a really good faith walk. I remember Gianna, she owned Lash Tag at one point, and I remember talking to her, and I remember early on when doing the build out, and I was like, well, I'm taking the leap of faith, and she was like, I was like, asking her like, what happens after the leap of faith? She said, you're gonna keep leaping. Meaning, like, once you jump out there on faith, it doesn't stop there. You don't have to keep jumping. And I was like, that kind of stuck with me, like, over the years when Malachi said, like, every day waking up and doing new things for the business, like, you're steady jumping out there on faith. Like, okay, God, we'll see if this
hope this works out.
Yeah.
And that's why, even being an entrepreneur, it is a faith walk. A lot of times you'll feel like, dang, is this working? Is this going to work? And that's when that faith comes in, and you just literally leaving it in God's hands, really, and doing what you're supposed to be called to do at the same time. But the whole thing is an entire faith walk, the whole journey. I think you kind of touched on this, but I was talking with a friend, and sometimes one time she said, like, how do you know it's God's voice versus fear?
You know what? That is so good. I've been, someone sent me a DM on that, right? Mm-hmm. And, I'm going to always go back to the Bible, because it says when people ask you about your, what God has done in your life, like, always have an answer for it. And, one thing I can say is that the enemy is loud.
Mm-hmm.
And so loud that you can't even hear your own voice. Like, you're so, and you said it, confuse it. God is not the author of confusion, right? So I feel that for me, when you look at the Bible, and it's always like, it was a storm, and then it was this loud bang, and then it was a whisper.
Yeah.
So I always, now, I think, like, definitely having a business, I have grown to, really, like, okay, God, if it's not from you, it's like, making sure, and I would say that for me, it's this surety behind it, and this peace, like, in my heart.
Yes, peace.
Like, to where I don't have, like, it's like, even if God's truth shuts down any lie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even when I try to come against what God is trying to tell me to do, He shuts it down. Even before this podcast, y'all, I'm going to be honest, I say, God, if I'm not supposed to be here, or if I'm not supposed to sit with you, God, make it not happen. Like, I'm one of those people, like, God, like, very intentional.
Y'all see that here, though, right?
I'm here. But I'm very intentional about, like, alignment and where God wants me to be, and, like, where, like, like, I feel like everything is, like, intentional. God does mean very intentional. So I would say this, you guys, like, building that relationship with God is a personal thing. It is a one-on-one personal thing. I do, if you're second guessing something and it's causing confusion to where you're back and forth, double-mindedness, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, like, that's not of God. I feel like when God speaks to you, or you get this surety from God, it's this sureness to where you, like, I'm gonna, like, you don't have nothing, but you're gonna bank on it. And when you have that sureness, like, okay, this sounds like, I feel like when I trust God, it's like, even with closing Malachi, it sounds crazy,
right?
But, like, I have the peace, and how God lines up your life after you say yes to whatever He tells you to do. And in your obedience, you're like, wow, dang, God, like, this is, like, are you sure? I'm still walking in the faith now. Like, okay, God, like, things have lined up for me, and I'm still like, okay, God, you sure this is what I'm supposed to do? Like, you still, like,
I know, you still be questioning a little bit.
Just a little bit, but
that must have seen a faith.
Yes.
I would say this kind of like 2 Timothy. I can't remember what verse. 2 Timothy. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the power of love and a sound mind. So just go back to that and just understand, like, if you're battling with something and you're not sure, like, is this God speaking? If it's confusing, like, it's causing panic, and that is not of God. So that's your answer.
And that's waking up and renewing your mind. Like, I think, like, the one thing is definitely when you get up and say, God, may I only hear your voice today. Like, close out any thoughts, anything that sets up against you. Like, I just want to hear your voice. And I think, like, if you it's a, scripture, it's something in the Bible that says, if you knock, I will answer.
Yeah.
So it comes to that thing where you just waking up every day knocking and say, God,
Yep.
any thoughts, anything that is not of you, I only want to hear your voice.
It will work.
Yeah.
Be ready. If
Yeah.
you listen, even if it's not even if it's a thought, God speaks so fast.
Yes.
And it's almost scary.
Yeah.
But he will answer if you not. I'm telling you, try it after
Yeah.
after you finish this podcast.
Yeah. Do it, and you're gonna be like, wow, like it, and it's and he will work in a way that
Crazy.
you will,
Be like, are you sure?
Yes, and it's crazy because like when you do, sometimes when you do hear from God, I think for me, it's like when you hear, right, and you come back and you like, hey, are you sure? And then it's like silence. You like,
like, I don't say it again.
Yeah, like, or it's just like, it's just like, are you, and it's like it's not that you want to question God. I think it's like more so of like, wow, like I feel for me in my journey, you guys, that God have always sent me or put me in predicaments where I always would need Him. Meaning that He will send you, but but He would definitely have you in a predicament where definitely if He's sending you, that you have to lean on Him. And I think that that's the thing when He sent me and He said, okay, this is it. This season is for you. I'm sending you to do something else. I think that even in that season, of a few months ago, because I think I put the notice out there back in May, but May, because we're in July, the end of July, so that was like the end of May, and I had no idea what was next. Like I had no idea, like, okay, God, like, but you just trusted God. Yes,
and that's crazy.
And I
my next card is what's next.
Oh, what's next? And I like I've been telling everybody, whatever the Lord has for me,
yes,
I am trusting. Have God lined up new things for me. Is it in let's just put this out there, because I think that this is what everybody's waiting on, and they've probably been watching this podcast to get to this point. Yeah. People have been asking me, Ashley, are you moving somewhere else? No. Ashley, are you doing another business? As of right now, no. I am fully retired from ice cream, you guys. And I think that that's like the thing that everyone is like so confused about, that they're like, how can you walk away from this? And
but they're thinking with
the carnal eye or the carnal mind. And I would tell you this, you guys. I have been at so much peace once I gave God my yes to that no, meaning the no to the business, and yes, God, I'm going to go and follow you wherever you tell me to go. I would say that I do feel like my life is a mission. Mm-hmm. I do feel like I am being sent. I am being sent to do exactly what I'm doing now. And I challenge anybody who's watching to understand that God will bless the work of your hands and your feet if you let Him send you and you be in obedient to that being sent. Yes, Malachi's, I do feel like I was getting this praise and this glory, like, oh, you're creating something, magnificent, you're creating something. And, I do feel like slowly but surely it was getting away from, like, the original meaning when I built this. And this was, I told people, like, I wanted to fast for 6 months. God said, delete everything, don't talk, like, only necessities, and when I tell y'all, I didn't, no one knew, and I wouldn't even say close friends, like people who know me didn't even know that I was opening Malachi. So it has been definitely a spiritual journey for me, with being in Malachi's. And it's funny because now that I'm out, God has taken a lot of things out of me since owning Malachi's. Before, a lot of people know, like, by 23, I was a financial center manager, for a bank, went to help people run PPP with them, and then, help manage risk, prior to opening up Malachi's. And I tell people, I always had this hustler in me, like, grind, be the greatest, conquer it all. Like, I want to be the best. Yeah. And the crazy thing about it, y'all, since owning Malachi's, God has taken that thing out of me of this chase. Like, what are you chasing? This hustle you chasing, and as the Bible said, you building up your storehouse for you to die and cannot take any of this with you, right? Yeah. And I realized over time that, what meant more to me is time. Yes. And, even though
you cannot get that back. That was one of the questions. Yeah.
What was the question?
I was gonna say, like, what is your biggest lesson?
Time. You cannot get it back. You know, when I opened this, my son was in fourth going to fifth grade.
Yeah.
When I opened up Malachi's, and this is what's gonna make me cry. I was good. He's going to eighth grade now. Now I'm crying, guys. Not my baby. Now he's going to eighth grade.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I realized that like time you just don't get back. You know. And I'm like, here I am chasing something, right? And God is using me in the chase. Let me tell you, God will put you places and use you in the chase, you know. But He's really like have like taken me to a place where like, and I've been telling people can attest to this who come in. I'm like, you know, God has shown me it's okay to have enough.
Yes.
It's okay with just enough.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Amen. Oh my goodness, girl.
Because we sit here and we chase and we chase for more. You're always looking for more and stuff like that. And you know, I think like for me, I'm looking like, you know, I'm ready to be a mom. Like I'm ready to have a regular life. And you know, y'all, if you would have asked me almost 4 years ago, could I be the soccer mom in St. Augustine? I'm like, no, we live in Riverside. So I'm like, no, I like the hustle and bustle. I like the fun. If you would have asked me, you know, 4 years ago, like, would you be in St. Augustine put up? No. I'm like, oh, no, that's too settled in life. Yeah, that's too settled in life. Wow. Now, I'm like, no, give me the soccer pants. Like, I want the settle, like, I want the enough, you know? And I think that, you know, God has really, it's funny because everybody was saying, like, whatever venture we're going to support you. I'm like, you guys, I don't want to be a hustler no more.
And I feel that too. Like just stewarding what you have now well. Instead of always like, okay, what's next? What's next? It's like
you just have to go. Stewarding what you have now well. And I think that that's what God has want us to do. And I think about like where I came from prior to Malachi, and I'm like, dang God, like you had me in a great spot. You had me in a great career. And I still was chasing. I was still like, you know, I had this idea and I was just like, you know, I could have this idea and be like, okay, God, this is taking me away from your will. And then, you know, it's crazy because He still blessed my hands, and, you know, it still was a blessing. And He showed me His, you know, His hand over my life through those seasons. But He also used those seasons to also show some things in me that He wanted to take out, which is this chase for the next best thing, and always, you know.
Girl.
But time, you guys.
Time
you cannot get that back. And I think that I would never lure someone away from being an entrepreneur. I think it is, I would say that being an entrepreneur is it's definitely a
faith walk.
It's a faith walk. It's not like, I think that sometimes we glamorize it on social media. We make it look cute. We on a podcast and we make it look easy and stuff like that. And you're gonna be tested in ways that you never could even imagine. But I think it is worth it when you're doing it with God. I will always say it's worth it, but definitely be okay when God say, okay, it's time, this is enough. You know, I think that you gotta be at peace with that as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree with everything she has been saying, and also for people at home, if you're watching, you're an entrepreneur, and I will leave you with a verse before we play a quick game. But in those seasons where you're just completely unsure or stuff is happening, like you feel like it's happening back to back to back to back, I would just hope you remember this verse. It's John 13:7, and the Lord literally says, you don't realize now what I am doing.
Yes.
But later you will understand.
Yes.
And I promise you, if it makes absolutely no sense right now, it will come together because God has something for you that will blow your mind completely. You're going to be like, guess what? I don't know. It's because He's lining it up. Okay, it's not falling apart. It's falling together. And just literally stay the course, and you will see why He did all the things that He is doing. Okay.
Yes.
So on a lighter note,
okay,
Ashley, we're gonna do a little game. This is Would You Rather.
Okay, I love this.
Quick one, quick fire. You gotta do it quick.
Okay.
First thing for the one. Okay. Own an ice cream shop forever, obviously, or eat ice cream never again.
Okay. Eat ice cream never again.
Okay. Work 7 days a week or wake up 4 a.m. every day.
Wake up 4 a.m. every day.
She probably do that anyway, though.
Yeah, well, no, I used to,
Yeah.
but now I'm gonna get back into it. Yes. But I do wake up and work out every day.
Yes,
I love that.
she does. We're gonna get this workout together, y'all. I'm gonna be working out at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so give up social media or give up your phone for a week.
I give up my phone for a week.
Okay. Never make another business decision or never eat dessert again.
Never make a business decision.
Okay.
I love dessert.
Okay. This is the last one. Unlimited money or unlimited time.
Unlimited time, you guys.
Unlimited time.
Money, you can make money.
Yes.
And but time,
Can't get more of
with
that.
people and family and things of that nature, you cannot get back. We usually grabbing food to go and quick and all
Yes.
that stuff, and now I'm like, it's funny, the quick, but the video,
The video where you don't have to rush.
rush. Yes.
Oh, why am I rushing?
Yes.
That is so
It has
good.
been like literally since I made this, the announcement, but this last week where we're just, unhauling everything, I just been like, you know what? Don't get it to go. Let's do
Yes.
this instead, or
So
let's
real.
go do this, and movie times, and I just
So real.
Yeah.
I encourage you, if you have watched this full podcast, if you're at the end, make sure you do follow Ashley.
Yes.
Even though she's closing down Malachi's Icebreaker, but you can still follow her at
Fun and Funky Fresh. So it's FUNN Funky FUNKY Fresh FRESH. They want to tag it. So
yeah, we'll
Funky
tag
Fresh.
it. We'll have it somewhere.
And then I still will have Malachi's Ice Cream Bar page. I might turn it into just like a life after Malachi's, like Ash after Malachi's. I don't know, you guys. Yes, so we're hearing this for it may be an Ash after Malachi just to see what God's doing in my life and what the transition looks like. So that may be coming up. Yeah, I don't know yet, but what life to live, you guys? That's another thing. I do believe in you can do it all, and life is about trying it all, you guys. It's okay to not be the ice. I've been first I was known as the baking girl, and then I was the ice cream lady, and no telling what I'm gonna be known as.
The candy lady.
Yeah. So it's okay to I feel like I've lived 50 lives already, and I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to try it all and see where you land. Yeah,
I love it. And of course, follow Luxury Point Studio. And I'm going to have it here. And you can also follow my photography page, Felicia V Photo, if you need photos. And the last thing I'll leave you with, since the last question was unlimited money or unlimited time, remember, numbers never end. So if you're chasing money, numbers never end. So you'll never be happy.
It's never enough.
Okay?
Yeah,
all right.
I love that. Bye, guys. Yeah, that was so good.
I'm glad